Ladies and gentlemen, I had it handed to me on a platter. A first-hand taste of just how unbelievably powerful the human mind is. This untapped, unexplored power tool right here in my head, in everybody's heads. Except the vast majority of us will only ever read or hear about how powerful it is and never really get a taste. It's an unbelievable thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's only when you look it in the eyes, when you face it head on, when you are forced outside of your comfort zone, when your back is against the wall, that you are reduced to only two options, to run or to learn. And here I was in the most petrifying situation, a suicidal situation to most, where I was so far outside of my comfort zone that words could just not describe. And to add insult to injury, I had put myself here, willingly, albeit unwittingly. I had flown halfway around the world to be here, and I was petrified. Started a few years earlier. I was testing my own personal abilities in increasingly cold conditions, cold water conditions to be precise. Because the element of cold in water has this profound and devastating effect on the human mind. It induces pain, it induces panic, it induces fear, and those come together very quickly to install self-doubt. You see, humans have not evolved well at all to handle cold, but we've evolved pretty darn well to avoid it. So when you throw yourself into icy water, the body and the mind does everything at its disposal to convince you, or rather to force you, to get out. Now, I had trained for this, to try and process this calmly, to take that panic, that pain, and that fear, and to channel it in a different direction, away from self-doubt, to change my mind, to try and figure out how to make it a positive, to allow me to survive longer in some of the circumstances that I find myself at. And you know what? I was getting quite good at it until now. Quite out of the blue, I got an invitation to partake in an ice swimming event in a little place called Tumin, Siberia. And for reasons I'm still trying to figure out myself, I insisted on being allowed to attempt a 1,000-meter distance and not the recommended maximum of 100 meters. I knew I was taking myself out of my comfort zone. That's my thing. That's my vibe. I mean, where is Tumin, Siberia anyway? And I know it's going to be a whole lot colder than what I'm used to down at Camps Bay. But little did I know the lessons I was about to learn when I arrived in Tumin, Siberia, at the swimming pools, which were cut out of a frozen lake and stepped straight into minus 33 degrees Celsius. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've got a very expensive deep freeze at home, its lowest setting is minus 26. Contemplating a swim at minus 33 is not clever. And the local media were absolutely fascinated by the small team that have come from a distant land that have fought tooth and nail to be allowed to attempt 10 times the recommended maximum. They allowed us no escape. And it was that mental journey that I went on that day, that 24-hour journey that went all the way from, this is not going to happen. How the hell do I get out of Dodge? I'll pay back the sponsors' money, but this is suicide. Impossible. All the way to standing almost naked in a Speedo only on the edge of a pool of death in minus 33 degrees, about to attempt a 1,000-meter swim, with the cameras and the onlookers watching in amazement and recording every stroke. It's in those moments, stroke by stroke, as I conquered what I truly believed was impossible only hours before. It unlocked a whole new way of thinking, a new way of looking at my abilities, at my life, at my world, and all those little impossibles that have just held me back and kept me inside my comfort zone and made me underachieve. And it's a beautiful thing, because now I can take my audiences with me on a journey as I go through this change to every corner of the planet, not to get you to jump into freezing water, not to just entertain with some incredible video footage, but to help you believe and understand that we're all governed by a default setting of our minds that makes us believe in our own limitations. And when you believe in your own limitation, you have no reason to challenge it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an average Joe. I'm Ryan Stramrood, and I help people push past their own impossibles. Thank you very much, and thank you, USB.